Welcome everyone to it's actually our first Community Grants Committee meeting in this format. Welcome to anyone watching online. And we don't have to say the council prayers. We've had a meeting, an assets meeting this morning where we addressed that, and I heard an apology from Councillor Jill Duncan, and I'm happy to move that. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Wong. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. I haven't been notified of any public forum. Item number 4 is a conflict of interest declarations, and members of this committee, I ask that you declare any conflicts as they may arise. There's no change to order of business. And we move to item number 6 on page 5, confirmation of the previous minutes. So, and we'll move through those. Page 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Your worship.
Happy to move.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Loudon. Seconded. All those in favour? Against? Carried. So without any further ado, we'll move to the reason why we're here this morning, which is this afternoon, to discuss the Community Initiatives Fund, consideration of applications for round 1 for the 25-26 year. The allocation of this fund is 30,000 in total, and I note that a total of 26,252 has been requested in this first round. So will we just pull up those? All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could I make a motion that we, rather than using the average value, the average amounts of the figures given by each of the committee members, to arrive at a figure to donate for the fund, is to use the median amount. In the past, we have had problems with people, one extreme amount having a large influence on the amount that we arrive at. So quite often we'll have 2 or 3 people wanting to give the full amount of, say, $9,000, and one person wanting to give 0, which brings the average down to 7.5, whereas the median will be at $9,000. Most of the time, if we have a spread, the median and mean will be quite close. It will save a lot of calculations on the staff's part, because they just have to rank them from lowest to highest, pick the middle number. But if more than one person has obviously an opposing view, then it will change that. But I think we also had problems with people so-called gaming the system, trying to adjust the figures to get to a figure that they were more happy with, and that will eliminate that. So that's why I think we should head that way.
Thank you, Councillor Wong. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Loudon, thank you. Also, it's up for discussion. Any further, anyone want to talk for or against the motion? Your worship?
Yeah, I'm actually against the motion because in principle, I think that you've been elected to this table to represent the best interests of the district. This implies and almost states that people are taking a parochial view. And there's a district gamesmanship going on, and that just quite sit comfortably with me.
Well, thank you. I'm going to speak in favour of the motion. I think, yeah, I wouldn't like to see gamesmanship around this table, and and that is not what we're about. We are here to allocate grant funding in the most appropriate way. But I do agree that a median is probably a best count in our methodology. Councillor Carter.
I'll be speaking against. As at the start of the meeting, we state whether we have a conflict of interest regarding any application.
Mhm.
And I don't see how gamesmanship can fall into the discussions that we're having, as we're supposed to be doing it truthfully. I myself rank either high or low because of the application. If I don't feel the applicant has proven to me that they are worthy of that, they'll get wiped. I won't be pussyfooting around and saying, oh, it'd be nice to give them $2,000. None of this nice stuff. It's either in or out. And I hope you all play that same method of mark. Otherwise, conflict of interest appears. So that's the way I look at it.
Thank you. Councillor Loudon.
I think the gamesmanship doesn't have any part to play at all. I think the issue is a median value is more appropriate to calculating what the end amount is. Something to do with gamesmanship, and certainly doesn't imply that, although it was suggested that that might happen, it doesn't mean it does happen.
Thank you. So I've had 3 speakers in favour and 2 against. Anyone else wanting to speak? So I'll put it to the.
I'd like to reply.
Oh, beg your pardon.
I apologise, perhaps gaming wasn't the appropriate word. But we have had rather extreme views from the previous committee, which is why I brought this up. And this is more to future-proof it, because we had to sort of develop the behaviour of the last committee to get to a point where it was, I think, we wouldn't waste so much time. The other thing is, if this approach causes any big problems, there's always the opportunity to revert back to the old system. So I still back my motion.
Thank you. So I'll put it to the vote. Oh, beg your pardon.
Reference to the last committee, we're still the same committee for this year that Mr. Long's been in. So which committee is he referring to?
Oh, well, we have had a change of membership. So still the same committee, yes. So Councillor Wilson is no longer part of this committee.
More Councillor Moore.
Oh, Councillor Moore, beg your pardon. Yeah, that's what we're referring to. Okay, so we'll put it to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Against? Motion carried. Your worship.
Madam Chair, in terms of conflict of interest, do you want us to register our conflicts of interest now? And the reason I bring it up is because I believe that in the scoring system, there is a slight fault under Smarty Grants. So for instance, in Community Initiatives Fund, I'm a member of the RSA. I'm also a member of the Historical Society, and on the Historical Society, I I have a role in setting budgets, etc. Not quite so much that role doesn't really exist for me within RSA. But the difficulty I have is in the process, if you actually don't put a figure in the box, then you're recorded as not having been through the process. And so in my computer system, I have some things that record didn't take part in because I didn't put a figure in. So for a couple of these things where I am conflicted, I put in a figure quite expecting that to withdraw the figure at this process. It just gets it rid out of my ebook, my electronic systems.
No other advice or staff on this?
My advice would be that His Worship is doing the correct thing by putting a figure there, and then when it comes to the meeting with the chair, if you decide that there's a conflict of interest, then we can remove that figure from the spreadsheet a lot easier than adding a figure in.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that before a couple of times because you manually, by going to Kids and say, I've got a conflict and take my figure out of it. But if you're just doing it by yourself and you do not put a figure in, and if you put a figure of 0, that changes the averages or median.
Yeah.
But equally, if you put in a figure that you think was a realistic figure, then you're in breach of conflict. And it's just a slight, I think, anomaly in the
It's just the portal
system.
that we're using.
Yeah.
Thank you, and if you could just bring those conflicts up as they rise throughout the meeting, that'd be great.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so first of all, we will we'll go with recommendation 1. I'd like to move that the report Community Initiatives Fund consideration of applications for round 1 of 25-26 be received. Thank you, Councillor Sharlin, seconded. All those in favour? Carried. Okay. So, first of all, we've got the Scots Ferry. Yes.
Go to the report.
Sorry,
first.
thank you very much.
Apologies.
Sorry, Kezia, beg your pardon.
The main reason I just wanted to speak to it first was that there are a few questions that might impact how we go through the spreadsheet today. The first thing was that you would have remembered in the last meeting that there was a potential carry forward, which hasn't come to council yet. So there's a potential increase in the funds available if it was decided for council to roll those funds over. So for the Community Initiatives Fund, it was $15,308 that was remaining at the end of the financial year. And for the event support scheme, it was $5,620. I'll talk more about the event support scheme when we get to that item. But for the Community Initiatives Fund, there was an error on the Taipei Arts Centre application that said $2. The application was for $2,415. The Martin Country Festival, I hadn't realised that assessments had still gone out for that, even though the application had been withdrawn from the Community Initiatives Fund. So you won't see it as we go through tables today. And that was all I had really to say for the Community Initiatives Fund. And there's a bit more to say for the event support scheme.
So the first one in front of me is the Scots Ferry Community Committee. Did you click that just then?
No, I didn't. So
Because that wasn't on my assessment when I went in, I don't believe.
so what I would say with the Scots Ferry, there was another issue. So it was my fault for taking so long to make the decision on whether or not the application should be considered. And what happened next was, when speaking to the community, they changed their application to a native planting at the estuary in Scots Ferry.
Okay.
There should have been an assessment through to you,
No,
but I'm not.
I'm not sure what's happened there, but that's fine.
Really zoom in, sorry.
So, are you the same Councillor Carden, Councillor Loudon, Councillor Loudon's put an assessment on, beg your pardon. Councillor, who was there? Okay. So it's just myself. And I'll just wait till, it's gone round the discussion, please. But does anyone want to talk to the native plantings at the East Reef Scots Ferry Community Committee? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and just from me, if I had to look at any one of our communities about the chance of being cut off and the chance of losing power, that's probably Scots Ferry. We know that they will be isolated in significant weather events, and there is. Can I finish speaking? You're on the wrong button. So that's the risk for me, and I think you either fund this or you don't.
Or potentially Kezia make a comment through the chair in terms of the change that was made to the Scots Ferry application.
Sorry, I probably wasn't very clear. Their application for the civil defence was declined because it's a capital expense. And we don't fund for that through the Community Initiatives Fund. And then I went back and approached the community about if there was anything else that they would require funding for, and they've requested native plantings instead of the generator civil defence.
So just, so we will go around the road and make sure everyone's happy with the level recommended, but Councillor Loudon,
I fully support native planting. I think it's a good initiative. Thank you.
thank you.
This is a copycat from the last application regarding native planting, which they were granted, I believe, from last round.
You might be thinking of the forest and bird application. We didn't have a planting from Scots Ferry in the last round.
So I saw another one from them as well.
But, or unless it's the project report form from 2 years ago that they've completed.
But I feel this is just a knee-jerk application for the fact that they had money been applied for, so they've just changed the title from generator to plants. And in that, they haven't given any information regarding what they intend to do with the fact that it says here a one liner virtually, passion to attract more wildlife to our conservation area. It really is beautiful. Then in doing that, they haven't filled out any of the 3 targets regarding it. So I think this is just a flash in the pan virtual application with no thought given to it. Hence, I have put 0.
Thank you for your comments, yeah.
I couldn't have loaded it unfortunately because it wouldn't let me load it. It just said it doesn't exist, so
So there has been an issue with this
Yeah.
one, obviously.
tried several times, but it just wouldn't.
If I might, Smarty Grants didn't have it on there in that respect, but if you
Right.
I went through to the one that Kezia put onto the
Okay,
tin can
yeah,
and went through that way. And
got it. Thank you.
And I was obviously dealing with it as an application for tower,
yeah,
Mm,
and when I signed it off.
for sure. Staff, have you got any recommendations on how you'd like us to go forward with this?
So I guess from my perspective, the application that is in for Scots Ferry is native plantings. The question is whether or not the committee feel like they can make a decision whether they've had enough information or whether we need to take a pause to get up to speed with what's in the application. I guess from a process perspective, we need a decision either way. We can't really delay making a decision.
Sure. What would you like to do? Is there any thoughts? We could take have you got enough information in front of you? Certainly Councillor Carter has.
well, it actually comes up in 2 different areas because where it says the application is being funded for generator, yet at the start of the discussion, it talks about the wildlife. So I reckon it is a complete botch of an application, to be honest, without hurting anyone's feelings at all, but I believe it should be scratched.
We through the chair, that would be because it's unable to be edited on Smarty Grant, so I had to make the edits myself. I can't send applications back to people to fill in themselves. And so what happens, and you'll have seen it work, for example, as well with the Taipi Arts Centre, I can't make the changes to any applications when changes come through.
Okay, well, I don't think I can speak for the individuals around the table, so we'll go through the process. Does anyone need time to familiarise themselves with it? Otherwise, we'll go through and see what the response is from the individuals. No, if no one needs any more time, we'll just go around the room and if you'd like to nominate your nominated amount, please. So, sorry, Jeff, you're at the top of the list
Yeah,
there.
could you obviously remove my comments because
Yeah,
I was
Sure.
misinformed. I agree with the comments so far that the application was rushed, but I think native plants out there as a project is not a bad thing. And I'd keep my previous amount because I don't see, I do like to see other funding for these projects, and there's been no evidence of that. Perhaps it's rushed, so I'm happy with the $1,000.
thank you. Councillor Charlotte?
I'd be happy to agree with councillor Wong and give them $1,000. I think it's a worthwhile project to enhance Scott's Ferry down there.
It's difficult to know where Jill sat with her recommendation there. Got any thoughts? Double check that.
In the past, we've left the figures
Just
there.
left it? Okay. I'll assume that she was talking about native plantings at the estuary. Your worship.
Unfortunately, I tend to be in the position of councillor Carter. I have made extensive notes as I prepared all this, and the application is now confusing to me. I don't know exactly where these plants are going, what they're intending to do.
Mhm.
I would have. Even when you read the application, I might go and get my computer fixed. So I'm not relying on all the notes I've made. But it raises confusion. And in terms of application not being allowed for a capital item, it's interesting here because if the application had been made for hire of one or operation of one, it would have been permitted. And I would have preferred to see something permanent capital in place.
Yes.
So I'm not confident if you would have seen the original email that I'd sent. I put the community in contact with Paul Chafe for civil defence as well. One of the other concerns that kind of came out of the application was that in an event we would probably evacuate that community rather than encourage them to stay in place, which is what the generator was provided for.
That's the emails of, yeah, I'm aware of, and also looking at the fact of the capital equipment, which this doesn't cover. And you're looking at capital equipment in half of them, I reckon that's what Jill.
So what's in front of us now, I mean, there may be a situation where they need to discuss around that capital application in a future application, but we're not discussing the generator today. We're talking about the native plantings. Albeit a confusing application. So we will then his worship will come back and we'll see what his recommendation is there. Brian, have you got anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, confusing. The planting area isn't a big area. It's actually just around the signages coming in and out of around the welcome to Scott's Ferry signage, I believe. Small areas, which is well grassed at the moment. But yeah, I'm digging my toes in regarding the fact that the application is a sham.
Thank you. Councillor Loudon. Sorry, have you, are you happy with your recommendation at 2.5 for the planting? Yeah. Okay, and I'll add, I am concerned, I'm very encouraging of any native planting, but I am concerned about the process here. So I am going to, recommend $500. We'll just have to wait for his worship to make sure that he was still thinking that level there. Sorry, Andy, what we're just waiting for you.
Sorry.
You like us to pause, give you time? We're just wondering about that level is where we're at with the meeting, but we can pause to give you the time to have a look.
$1,000.
Thank you very much.
Sorry to hold you.
No. So the median there.
So, through your chair, just because previously this was done on averages, so it'll just take a moment for me
Yeah.
to figure.
I've worked
out.
it out on the side. I think it's
Perfect.
$1,000. Your two middle numbers are 1,000.
Perfect. Okay. Right, thank you. So, our next application is from the Martin Return Services Association for street banners for Anzac and Armistice Days. Would anyone like to talk to their application?
Just
Your worship, yeah,
notify that I am a member of the RSA,
yes,
but I'm not on the executive board.
thank you.
I also am a member of an RSA.
Thank you.
Speak to one if I so wish.
Yes, please.
They were asking for 1,900 to 15 various flags. I thought 15 is a little excessive. And the fact that we're trying to cut down in the amount of monies which have actually gone through for all of these applications to get down to somewhere near 50% of our 30,000 for the two
Yes, I
rounds.
understand, yes.
Okay, spending the whole lot in one round. So I have thought to myself that maybe 10 flags is more than ample and have put up there $1,118, which is
Okay,
10 flags values worth, plus the $18 freight.
I would like to adjust my to $1,500, please. Any other comments?
Just have a question.
Hmm.
Did we resolve what's happening with the money from the previous rounds? Was that brought up?
No, so that will come to council, I believe, as a council decision. So, we will look forward to that at a future council meeting.
Just as a
Yeah.
sort of, to expand on
Absolutely.
councillor Carter's point before.
Minimal amount.
Okay, thank you. No, I'm happy with mine. Thank you.
Councillor Nolan.
Just a comment on councillor Carr's comment. Each of these should be taken on their merits as opposed to averaging them out based on the fact that there's only so much money available. I disagree with him that you should actually look to halve it or whatever, considering what the total amount we spend is. Each of these should be taken on their own
No, I
merits.
think we have to be careful, everyone is here in their own right, and we do have to be careful when we're commenting on other people's methodology. Yeah,
Can I answer that?
yes.
We've got a budget of 30,000.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I think
48, was it 28,000's been.
I think everyone understands your methodology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But come to the second round and if you've got $20,000 worth of funding required, where's the other 18,000 going to come from? You're only going to have 2,000 to play with.
So everyone has their own methodology. We're all those that have sat on this committee for a while realise that the applications in the first round are generally a lot more than the second round. But we have been elected to this position, and we take it responsibly of how we're going to allocate this as we see fit, each and every individual at this committee. Is everyone happy with the recommended amount? If so, we'll go for the mean as per the Marketing Return Services Association in front of us.
So your median is 1,000. I'm just, we've got 1,000. I've worked out 1,000.
Thank you. Next is the Alzheimer's Wanganui application for their Martin Group expenses. Would anyone like to speak to their comments?
I
Councillor
fully support this,
Simon.
this organisation because my wife was involved in it, so I'm very happy to go with what I've recommended because it's a very worthwhile program.
You wish it?
Madam Chair, that's a conflict of interest, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You cited a family member that's been involved in an organisation.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, that's the reality.
Mhm.
Do you wish that amount be withdrawn from the spreadsheet?
Yes. Anyone else wanting to talk to Councillor Loudon?
A very worthwhile organisation, working in difficult times as the numbers who are affected by this increase as we age. And I'd like to up mine to 2,500, please.
Any other adjustments? Leave it to these mathematicians to do that calculation then, please.
Chucked it into Excel and
Yeah.
it's given us 1,500.
Thank you. Moving on to the Scouts Association of New Zealand, First Scout, Martin Scouts. Their application is 4 jackets and a personal located beacon. Any discussion around this application? Agusha.
Yeah, I was, in terms of, I was prepared to fund the $490, which was part of the application, but not funding the individual jackets, etc. So that's where I came to.
Councillor Carter.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as that as well. It's my $500 that it is.
Anyone else? Yeah. So I would actually like to adjust mine back to $1,000 on that grounds. So we'll go ahead and do that calculation.
Is that 1,000?
Yeah.
It's 1,000.
The committee decision therefore was $1,000, that application. Next one is the Parkinson's New Zealand Charitable Trust. Anyone want to talk to their comments All right, councillor Loudon.
Again, can I raise mine to $2,000, please? Again, social services within health, under the pump, and our council and our community needs to support them.
Yeah, my concern around it was around the application. It was nothing specific to the Rangitiki, so it was very difficult to understand what's actually happening in our district. Hence, my recommendation. Any other thoughts? Your worship?
I had a similar view to you. I was disappointed in the application. It was written from a national perspective, and I would have liked to have seen something saying these are the number of people that we currently have with clients. However, I can provide evidence they are active in our district, but I'm just not sure of the scale.
Yeah.
I would like to have given them more, but we just don't have the money.
Same aspect of what Sophie said about what's been allocated to this district. Hence, I believe it's going in a big pot for the nation as such, for the country. That's why give them 250. Hopefully that'll get to our area.
Thank you. Any other adjustments? Okay.
1,000.
Thank you. Itty Bitty Kitty Committee, which is dealing with the Taipi cat colonies and responsible cat care up there in Taihape. Any comments around this or adjustments that you want to make to your recommendations? I did have some concerns around the longevity. I was worried about how much it was costing. So 1,500, if my interpretation of the information we were given is correct, $1,500 to neuter 11 cats. And they seem to have had an initial funding of a reasonable amount, but what will happen when that base funding runs out was my concern. And therefore the longevity of the committee, but your worship.
This is one I'm tough on because I know the issue of wild cats in our district, and in particular Taihape. Essentially, as I understand it, they are feeding wild cats. They are catching some of them, and those that they deem to be wild, they're returning back to ensure I take on board that they're looking to neuter, etc. But the issue of wild cats is incredibly big. And if you go out to Mataroa, it is what's happening is these cats are being caught and they're not even being returned in Taihape. They're taken over the hill, first left out of town, over the hill, drop them off the top of Mataroa. It is a very significant issue.
That's the one.
I do take on his worship's comments. This has been going on largely due to maybe one or two people who've encouraged it. And council and SPCA and a lot of agencies have been contacted over the past few years with very little effect. This committee, although perhaps erring on the side of being overly kind to the animals, I think is getting on top of the problem by neutering and keeping tabs on the situation. At least it's plateauing and coming down rather than just dumping it in the country areas in a humane way. I Yeah, I do take, I do totally accept the mayor's comments, but I think it is a positive and I do support it. There are other measures going on, perhaps through the bush that are limiting numbers in a non-public way, which is may not be palatable to a lot of the public. So it is decreasing, and I think we have got on top of the problem with this, and hopefully this won't be a regular occurrence after. It won't be such a, and there is funding from quite a few other streams raising money for feeding and other services. It's a shame the vet bills are so high. If we had an alternative where they were neutered at a lower rate, it would be great, but that's not what the issue here. So, thank you.
Just why to zero? Maybe releasing cats back into the community, whatever, but they're still there destroying wildlife. It's what we're trying to, or
Just mine to 500.
bothering themselves in people's gardens. So that's the sort of thing that I'm in. So euthanizing them, all well and good to get rid of them outright.
Any other comments? Take the mean, please.
Right, the median is 500.
Median. Thank you very much. Cancer Society of New Zealand, Whanganui Rangitikei Waimarino Centre. Application is around laptops for their advisors and support services. Anyone want to speak to their comments there? Councillor Wong.
You just go on perhaps what Councillor Loudon has made comments about before, how the funding for the health services, the Alzheimer's, the Parkinson's and the cancer seems to fall upon less and less funding streams. So I support that to that extent. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Sharlin.
I'm very happy to support these two because they're all, as Councillor Loudon said, they're all things that we're facing as we get a bit older. So the more that we can help these people, I think the better it is.
Call and Daffodil Day 1 and 3 is the new cancer rate expectation. Okay, so if we can have the median.
2,000.
Thank you. Taiheke Art Club have put through an application for gumboot art, which I believe, for the 25th of October. So I hope that was all going to be doable in that timeline. It's a new initiative. Any comments? Councillor Wong.
I did have the question of why wasn't this supplied through creative communities? I don't know if there's a.
Chair, I would assume that it might have something to do with the dates of the funding round. So creative communities won't be making a decision until November. There's nothing stopping them from applying for the community stuff though.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I sort of inferred from the application that this was going to be out and being celebrated before Gumboot Day and after Gumboot Day, sort of. So I do think the timing is very tight here. Anyway, does anyone else want to talk to anything? We'll go get the medium, please.
2,000.
Thank you. Manawatu Multiple Sclerosis Society. I'd like to declare a conflict of interest. My brother-in-law is MS. Yeah, anyone else want to talk to their comments?
So in terms of that conflict of interest, just because you've got a family member with it, but that's different to being actively involved in the organisation. It's up to you to declare how you wish, of course, but there is a difference here.
Well, I don't know if he gets any support from the society or not, to be honest. So in that respect, no, I don't believe I have a conflict. That's the one.
Again, another application without specific reference to Rangitikei. So it would be it'd be good to know how many people were affected or how many people were helped in this area. As I see a few other comments about the same thing. Hand on my figure.
Councillor Loudon.
Can I raise mine to 2,000, please? 2,000.
Thank you. We'll do that calculation.
1,500.
Next is the Martin and Surrounds ICT Hub Charitable Trust Board, which I believe operates out the back of the library nowadays and in Ratana. Yeah, any comments there?
They perform a fabulous process, very professional.
I can just reiterate my comments is, yeah, I think digital literacy has become a necessity and I think it's a very worthwhile cause. Councillor Wong.
Can I ask what ICT stands for?
Information Centre of Technology, I believe.
Sorry.
Information Centre of Technology, I
Oh,
believe.
it.
I'm actually not sure on that.
Thank you. No, I support it. Very, very, very,
Okay, we'll get the medium for me, please.
2,500.
Okay. Martin and District Historical Society Incorporated.
Yes, can I ask that my figure be removed because of the conflict? I'm more than just a member of the society. I'm on decision-making process.
Councillor Loudon.
I could put that one in.
Oh,
I have
thank
my
you.
name in. 2,500.
If anyone hasn't been and visited this garage, I thoroughly recommend everyone does. It is a most incredible collection of data, of pictures and envelopes and photos of our district. It is a very, very precious collection that is very well managed, and I can't congratulate this committee enough. And it is at risk. It is right in a flood zone. So I'm thrilled and in awe of the task of trying to get all this information digitized. But so particularly thanks to this committee. Anyone else want to talk to it?
Yeah, you did right. And sometimes I wish that council staff would actually go down there because the information that they hold in archives, we pay consultants to try and find. It's a treasure trove.
Nothing else then? We'll do that calculation, please.
So the formula that's coming up is 2250. And I believe that must be because we have two similar. Where we've only got
Mhm.
6, so we've averaged the
That's
two
good.
middle.
Sure. Thank you. Check with the mathematician, you're all happy?
Very.
There we go. So that's got through our applications for the first round. We'll just pause while Kezia
Figures.
is able to type that through. Just while we're waiting, it did occur to me, and I don't worship it, I don't know if Ngātawa is still involved with the Duke of Edinburgh, but I did wonder if I thought would be a worthy, maybe it's something that those students could help with as their service to the town and trying to get some of that scanning done. That's what went through my mind.
Yeah, and one of the issues is that there are people that occasionally come down and offer to help,
Yes,
but the person that we have doing it sometimes says, if it's consistent, that's great,
right.
but one-offs,
That's
it
true.
takes more time to train them and then correct and check
Yes.
the, you know,
Mhm.
appreciate the interest sort of stuff,
Mm,
but that's the
okay.
dilemma they face.
There's one thing there, Madam Chair, when I'm involved with a museum in Bulls, and
Yes,
a few years ago, I went to UCOL and they said that they could give that as a student learning thing to do, go and digitalise stuff, but it came to nothing, but they were interested, so whether they still are. or
Ah.
not.
might like to ask that to you, committee too.
Yeah, there's a
Mm.
student project.
Right.
I will note we are still in the live stream.
Thank you.
There are a lot of applications this time for this resolution, sorry.
Piece of irrelevant information. The second oldest cricket club in New Zealand is actually Martin, apparently.
Martin.
Which is the oldest?
Wellington.
Goodness me, that's interesting, isn't it?
I was reading it the other day.
Is the Cricket Club still?
Yes,
Mm.
yes, it's fine.
Rugby club was their fourth oldest. Well, there's debate about that now, apparently. Meant to be the fourth.
Great to see the number of applicants.
Chair, I will edit the correct titles of all the organisations after the meeting. The total I have is $16,250 to distribute.
What was that? Give you 16,000.
Which is approximately just over half of the
Yeah.
grant available.
Two-thirds.
Two-thirds of the total cost.
You know, this is the distribution. That is that, seem right to you? Potentially it's my typing.
in the maths here.
Apologies. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we've got a recommendation in front of us. We have a mover and seconder. I'm happy to move that the Community Grants Committee approve the sponsorship of the projects listed below and disperse the community initiatives funds as outlined to successful applicants as listed there, totaling 16,215. Happy to move. Seconded councillor Carter. All those in favour? Against? Carried. The recommendation is around that the Community Initiatives Fund project report funds be received. Move to worship, seconded councillor Loudon. All those in favour? Against? Carried. So next we move to the 7.2, which is the events support scheme. So in consideration of applications for round one for 2025-26 year. We bring this over across to Kezia.
Yes. Before you start, potentially there's a procedural question. I just note that your decision around approach to decision making with regard to the median was done in the item Community Initiatives Fund.
Yes.
Whether or not you also want to make an explicit decision for these applications as well, noting that this is something, should this committee be re-established under the new triennium, that we could do at the start of the triennium.
I asked the question of this committee that since we've had that usage in the first round of the community grants, is there an objection if I move it for this event sponsorship scheme?
Worship.
My concern was the way that it was phrased as much as
I
ever.
apologise for that.
So, oh, okay.
I'll go motion to move that we adopt the median for the figures out for the events support scheme.
You got a second for the motion?
Second.
Yeah, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favour? Against? Carried. So we'll just receive that report. Happy to move the receipt. Seconded councillor Sharland. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Back to Kezia then.
Okay. So I'd just like to highlight a few things for the committee. The Rangitikei Farm Stay, the Mara event has been withdrawn from this round. And it was raised during the assessment process that Opa Marae has put an application in, and one of the quotes was a quote that they'd written for themselves, the exact same bank account number that funds were going to be received in versus the quote as well. So I did follow up with them on why it had occurred. So there is a committee and a trust structure, and in future they won't be using the trust bank account for quotes or for their own grant applications. The reason why they'd done a quote was because there is a cost to the rubbish and the cleaning associated with this, but is up to the committee. There isn't anything explicit in the strategy I could find around it, but it is a concern and something that to be mindful of when we get to that application.
Thank you. Okay, our first event up in front of us today is the Hunterway Festival. been running in our district for a long time and thoroughly enjoyed by many, especially in my patch in Hunterville. Any comments, thoughts around those applications? Councillor Carter.
Going through their budgets, it's reading that they're $270 in need. They're applying for 4,000. Then looking through what they're applying for is like administration and stuff. Is that wages for people? I'm uncertain. But I have backed them by giving 2,000, I think. Yes. So that's reluctant, to be honest, as I thought that this funding was to encourage and start with, and then that they find their own methodology or means of creating their monies, not continually asking for it. I thought this fund was to set them up to start with. But they seem to be using it as a bank. So, yeah, I'm still supporting, but not as much as I would like, should do.
Through you, Madam Chair. So when the support scheme was changed, there's nothing actually in the new criteria that leads towards seed funding for events. It's more looking at what the event brings to the district, so the benefits to the district. So that might have been, I think, in the old events.
Guidelines.
What was it? It used to be called the events
Sponsorship.
strategy, something sponsorship, the event sponsorships scheme. Yeah, so it's changed.
Okay. Thank you. Your worship.
Yeah, different organisations handle their budgets in different ways. For instance, if you go to this budget, they put a sponsorship estimate of 50,000. Other organisations take the attitude of, we won't put in sponsorship because we haven't got it, and we'll show a deficit that they need to try and recoup. You know, so you get somebody on one hand saying, well, you've got a neutral budget, therefore you don't need money. It's just an interesting difference, the way that organisations fill out their budgets.
Thank you. Councillor Wong.
Just as a point, I believe the latest event support scheme principles has got striving to be self-sustainable in future, which supports Councillor Carter's view, and which I strongly agree with. It's only a piece of it, but I do support that. So I do think while it's not seed money, but I thought we were trying to encourage these events to be self-funding. We would bring money into bring different events to the area. That's just I had seen it in there, and it's still in.
Okay. Thank you for that. Councillor Loudon.
I think it's great that we've got a wonderful array of events bringing people to our district, and that makes it even harder because we've got so few, so many, and the budget is not large. But I also understand that a lot of these events take place over spring, summer, and so the funding needs to be in place now, whereas the second round is often a little bit leaner. I do take on board Councillor Carter's comments. I had the same feeling as well, so I left my sponsorship 2,000.
Thank you. Councillor Sharland.
I fully support the thing because the more people we can bring to this district, the better. And going out and getting sponsorship, it gets just harder and harder every day. So if we can support it, I fully agree. It's a great idea.
Okay. No further discussion. It
was 2,000.
2,000. Thank you very much. Next, we've got the Hunterville Squash Rackets Club Incorporated. They want to run a family colour fun run. Any thoughts around that? Basically, this is a new event, hoping to attract around 500 people. And I certainly was happy to support it as a starter.
Again, I asked their accounting, way they've written it out, they're in the green by $411. Why are they asking for our funds? Using us as a bank again. But I have supported them with, I've got $1,000 up there. But this is the question I ask again.
Want further discussion? Further maths?
500.
Thank you very much. The Bulls and District Community Trust, Christmas in the Park. It's a change from the parade on the street, I guess. Significant savings, not having to close the road. Looking at the budget, I was interested. It seemed like a relatively expensive entertainment package. Yeah, but I'm still happy to support. At a significant lease amount, I've recommended 2,500 there.
This is something very similar to what I used to be involved in years ago when they had the Christmas parade, then the main entertainment day for the families.
Yes.
We used to have Harvey Martin down there at the same time. But I've just gone away from the Christmas parade, just having the entertainment in the domain where people can mingle and get into the groups and advertise themselves. So I fully support, not fully, but it seems to be my not if I put any more money on there, but leave it as it is, thanks.
No problem. Your worship.
It's just incredibly expensive. It blows a significant part of the budget in one event. So you've gone from a Christmas parade where the traffic management costs were about 3,500 or something like that, to the scale of this. It is a very, and I'm just nervous around how much we can afford to fund.
Councillor Allen.
Yeah, great event. However, I have the same concerns that it is an expensive event as it was presented. I'm keen to support it, but it is an expensive event the way it's been presented.
No further discussion?
4,750.
Thank you very much.
Does it come back to Katrina?
4,750. Noting we've only got 6 numbers up there.
Next is the country music. Martin Country Music Festival. Again, a great event in our district that I need to attend myself, but it seems to have such incredibly good feedback, and I have been in the street the weekend that it's here, and it is a great thing to happen in our district, and I would like to encourage, thank the organisers for making it happen. I see Councillor Carter, was that the number that you were expecting there?
2,500, yeah. As I've said prior regarding funding, they've only got to put the entry fee by $1 and they'll cover the costs of looking for.
So we've got 250 there, is it? Yeah, sorry. Said 2,500. Thank you. Councillor Wong.
It's good to see that it's nearly self-funding. It's our contribution is quite small. And also the fees they pay for the park and things is higher than what we give them. And brings a lot of out of towners, camper vans and stuff to the whole ring ticket, not just Martin as they pass through, which I think is great.
A question first, Kim, how many days are they booking the park for?
They've got about a week. They've got the setup time in the event and then the pack down time.
Because I was speaking to them and I suggested to them that effectively they're running 3 days, and there's a day that they use as setup, and there's a day that is the principal cleanup. And I wonder if we are consistent in that space. You know, should we be charging park fees when it's not an activity associated with it, it's either set up or, yeah. I can see the point of charging somebody if it is being actively used. But I just wonder, for instance, if we have, you know, Harvest Festival and so on, we would effectively use a day set up as well. And we don't, I wouldn't expect us to account for that either. I just think there should be some guideline principles here. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense.
How, do you want an action out of that comment?
Yeah, I think that in this case, they should be only charged for the days that they're actually providing, you know, entertainment. I think they come in on Tuesday or Wednesday to start to set up. They do have rock ups on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, definitely. And sometimes like Thursday night, but I think we should be getting back and saying, this is when we will charge you, and this is when, you know, we allow you to set up as separate processes.
Is it a separate issue though from
Yes, it is a separate issue from this.
this? It's probably a whole other discussion.
Could I suggest?
They apply for exemption of fees.
They have been advised to apply.
There's $8,000 there. That's a great saving to start with. They applied for it. I'm quite sure council, as Miranda was saying, would look favourably upon the fact of 2 days not being charged for.
Yeah, so that's something that they are in the process of doing.
I think they've just recently written to the chief executive and with regard to this matter, copied to me, I think. They've got email from me.
Okay, so that request will come through the system in another matter. Okay, and can be dealt with accordingly when that comes through. So back to the matter in front of us. Any further comments or changes to your recommended amounts? If not, we'll do the maths.
I'd happily increase mine to 2,000.
Mine as well.
What would you like yours increased to?
1,000 plus.
1,000? 2,000 for councillor Campbell, please. Sorry.
Yeah. Got 100%. Is that 20,000?
Somebody said to me the other day, they're coming all the way from Hamilton, especially for.
Oh, 600 motorhomes, doesn't, that's the scale of
Awesome.
Your number is 2,000.
2,000? Thank you, everyone.
Now, Madam Chair, we do unfortunately have to go back to the Bulls and District Community Development Trust, because councillor Duncan's number unfortunately didn't generate automatically into our spreadsheet.
Okay, let's go back there then.
Apologies, so councillor Duncan's was to not fund, which may impact the median.
Of course, right.
$2,500.
4,500.
Seeing it don't look like this.
So now at the Martin Arts and Crafts Centre, they're wanting to hold a garden tour in November, I believe. Normally our amazing gardens in the district get a great following, so we wish them well for that. Any comments or changes to what's on the table in front of us? Councillor Loudon.
No change to my amount suggested. However, it does make a profit, but the profit has been earmarked for support for the Community Arts Centre, which offers a very good service to our community, and it brings in a lot of people from outside. So although it's deemed a profit-making exercise, it's geared towards trying to support their own community initiatives within the Martin Arts and Crafts Centre.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I must
Thank
have
you,
a
councillor
to
Carter.
the with that one. 0, please.
Councillor Wong.
And like I said, I don't know about supporting the event, but this should be taken, I thought, separately, and on the merits of this, I didn't think we needed to contribute towards it, whereas if they had another event which they need to contribute for that needed money, I would look at that separately. So I'm not supporting this.
Your Worship.
Yeah, I think there's a strategy here, what they would have been better off doing and saying, this is the funding that we require to exist as an organisation. And this is how we are raising some of the funds to support that. And here's our deficit that we need to make up. And so I sort of take on board Simon's comments around that. But again, I think this is probably a process of advice to them. Yeah, I think that they do have value in our community, but I'm just nervous around an event which should be classed as an event. I'd go halfway and say that I'd be prepared to put $1,000 in.
No other changes or discussion? We'll do the maths.
1,000.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just hope that Kezia or someone has a conversation with them around this sort of subject, because I wouldn't do this again this month.
We can provide that feedback.
So we've got the Opia, Opia, Marai, my apologies. And the market day that they're looking to host there. So yeah, I found this application a little bit confusing. Is this a fundraiser for the Marae, or is it a someone coming in and running a wellness and health event at the Marae with any profit going to an individual yeah, that was not clear to me.
I believe in their application, because I didn't ask them that question, is that it is a fundraiser for the marae.
Right,
Because they do directly say in the application fundraiser.
right.
But I can understand the confusion because I assumed it was a singular event initially.
Thank you. Any other comments, thoughts, or?
Yeah, to me, it's just a bit like you, Madam Chair, it seemed like a bit of a stab in the dark. Well, give us a crack and see if we can get any money. That's why I can't read it.
Any further discussion?
I saw it as like the Christmas parade and all the Christmas down the Domain. It's an outing for the district of that area, regarding the church and health and wellbeing. So I see it as a good thing. Hence the value I've stuck up there.
Thank you, councillor Wong.
Yeah, I agree. It seems to be a good event, but I couldn't really find a lot of detail in their financial plan. If it's a fundraiser, again, we want to support the event as such, but not to contribute to their funds unless they had a budget accordingly to what they were raising, and this was as part of that. That's just not enough detail for me, hence why I've got a relatively low amount.
No further discussion? We'll do the math.
$1,000.
Rangitikei Sharing Sports Incorporated, again, a long-standing event in our district. Attracting over sort of 400 people, I believe. But so from the application, sounds like it's a highly recognised, in the circuit. So that's great for Martin. And I was really happy to support. Any other comments, thoughts, changes to your recommendations?
When I saw the fact of $10,000 going into prize money, I just dug my heels in. That's not what our money's for. Hence, zero.
Worship.
In response to councillor Carter, that attitude would rule out, that decision process would rule out all of the horse events that TIHAP is based on in Memorial Park. They all get prize money. Without these sorts of things, by putting up prize money, you won't get people there. These are circuits. They don't surprise me budget. And I haven't seen this before elsewhere. There was a line for interest of $300, which makes me question just how much money people are holding. $300 probably not much at all. But we have Highland Games, for instance, when you see their balance sheets, they have a lot of money, and they're very good at applications and fundraising and so on. But we used to get access to people's balance sheets, and that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I actually thought that we were seeing them, if they choose to put them in, yeah. Councillor Loudon.
The whole thing about an event like this and other events in our community and district is that it's a long-standing event. It brings outsiders into the community. It brings people here to watch and take part. And that's part of economic development as far as I could see. And I support the city.
Councillor Shannon.
The other thing about this program too is that this event is that the guys that do well here go on to the Golden Share, so it's a great promotion. And it brings a whole lot of people to Martin. I think it's a well recognised event.
Thank you.
People.
Right.
For 4 people. Only 4 contestants.
So
Over every range, so. Not just one.
So can I just clarify
Yeah.
that? You're saying 4 contestants, hundreds of contestants.
Yeah, that would be my understanding as well. Councillor Wong.
I think the event's great. It brings a lot to people. It's representative of a rural area. But from what I see on the accounts, they don't really need our funding. So that's why I haven't put anything in there.
$8,000 in the green.
Sorry.
$8,000 in the green.
So that's why I haven't put I haven't put any money into it. It just comment from His Worship, the application form doesn't ask for a balance sheet anymore, it asks just for a balance sheet of the event. Is that something perhaps that we would like to look change for the future? Would we want to know? Was that relevant, the health of the actual organisation behind so that's the question which I.
Bishop.
This is the argument I said before.
Mm.
So you're saying that the budget shows that they're $8,000 in profit, but on the income side, they have listed where they're hoping to get by way of donations. You know, if they left out that because they don't know that, other than specified donations listed, that's we're hoping that we contribute, and a huge number of others contribute privately. So this is the 2 different approaches I was talking about before.
Councillor Loudon.
And certainly a small profit like $8,000 is future proofing a large event. And so you've got to think of this event needs to carry on. And you see what's happened in Womack, they've had to pause because they need to actually regroup themselves. And so I think our small bit of support is very worthwhile.
Thank you. Okay. No other changes, comments? Do the math.
1,500.
Thank you. Next to the Taipi dressage, they have, say a couple of days at least in Taipi just before Christmas. The Memorial Park there is very good footing for horse events and renowned throughout the country for that. Has anyone got any comments or changes they'd like to make? Sorry, Councillor Hall.
It's a great time of the year to have an influx of young people in town. It's an economic benefit to the area, to Taihape. I don't want to appear too parochial. So that's why I support it.
I think that in terms of the demographic, it's probably yes, there'll undoubtedly be some young, but there will be a lot of middle age. Women competing here. and men, but dominantly. So, anyone want to change anything? Here we go. You can
1,000.
in our final application, I think, yes, is the Taipi area show jumping, which would probably attract a lot more younger riders. for the 67th annual show jumping show. And with the comment that the AMP show no longer runs, is that correct? Or certainly no longer has a horse event. So yeah, this is quite a highlight in the Taipi calendar, and certainly in the days when I used to attend with my family, you know, it does benefit the local shops, etc. Any thoughts, comments, changes you want to make to what you've got in front of you?
$3,000.
There we go. Yes, so if you can do your magic, please.
I'll just read.
Would you like us to adjourn for a couple of minutes and just turn off our audio online? or-
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the committee. We've had lots of applications to look through today. And we've got a recommendation in front of us that the Community Grants Committee approve the sponsorship of events listed below and disperse the event support scheme funds as outlined to successful applicants as listed there, totaling 17,200. I'd like to move that recommendation. Seconded, Councillor Carter. All those in favour? Against? Carried. And recommendation 3 is that the event support scheme project report forms be received. I'm happy to move. Seconded, Councillor Sharland. All those in favour? Carried. And that is our meeting this afternoon. Thank you very much for everyone's attention online, and yeah.